Good afternoon, everybody. This is... Oh, there we go. We got a break. Okay, this is Michael with Premier Power. This is the electrical show, the half hour with Premier Power, I call it. We talk about topics of electrical safety, and today we're going to be talking about two topics, solar power and energy efficiency with cars. Today I have my father, Mike Holt, who is a national electrical expert. Dad, introduce yourself to them.
Thank you for being here again, son. And looking forward to kind of giving my perspective in solar power and electric vehicles, which might not be making people listen to this radio show very happy.
I have to agree. It's going to be very interesting, to say the least.
So we're kind of on opposite sides of the fence here with our other guest.
And speaking of other guests, it's Perry Volger. Perry, welcome aboard. Glad to have you here.
I'm so glad to be here.
Perry is another electrical contractor and a big solar power advocate. He's got a lot of passions involved with all that stuff. And so I want to introduce Perry and thank him for coming along. Perry, the microphone, you can just hold it. Just hold it, that's fine. Okay, solar power, safety, let's go involved with it. Perry, you are electrical contractor. You are a solar power big guy. Explain to me what's happening, where do you fit in with solar power and all of that?
Well, basically, Mike, I'm an installer. Been doing solar power for about 12 years now. This has not been a market that you can stay in. I mean, it's one of those trades that's evolved to something that it's a viable market now, but before 12 years ago, it was a market that you played with. It's not something that you did for a living.
And how long have you been doing solar power for?
I've been installing for about 12 years now.
Wow. Dad, you have something to say?
Yep, I think we're going to go ahead and kind of get into the program. And Perry's been doing it, like he said, for 12 years, solar installations, and primarily in Central Florida. I guess you've done some down in South Florida as well. So you've got, what's the largest system you've installed?
Well, I was in on the 2.5 meg system on the Orange County Convention Center.
And then you've had them as small as how big? Or how small?
Smallest, 700 watts.
700 watts. Okay, let's talk about solar power. I think the first thing that people want to know is what really is solar electric, or also called photovoltaic systems.
Now, let me butt in here. Perry, your initials are PV. So Perry Volger, so you match right in there with photovoltaic systems.
Yeah,
is that
PV
right?
is the abbreviation for photovoltaic systems.
I guess that's something my mother planned. I don't know.
So Perry, what is solar power?
Solar power is basically a generator. It's an electric generator, nothing more than that. So it's a green power generator, so it's a renewable source of power.
Now, if somebody's listening to this radio station, they're thinking about solar. Maybe I hear a lot about it, the magazines and the radio shows and the TV shows. What makes a location a candidate? Where would somebody say, okay, well, or where would you not qualify? In other words, what kind of location would not, or would?
So profiling somebody and their property.
Well, basically, you want a good roof to put it on. That's the best. You can ground mount it, but you need a good southern exposure to get your best payback.
I see. You need a roof. You need southern exposure. What else?
You need to make sure that you don't have shading.
So you don't want a lot of trees.
That's correct.
And when you say southern exposure, the roof, you normally want to have that facing southbound, right?
That's correct.
Because of the way that the sun rotates, it's right there on the south side of the roof, primarily.
That's correct. That's where you're going to get the best sun. You can put it in the east, you can put it in the west, but you'll lose a percentage.
Okay.
Now, how big of a system you think the average person might be a good candidate for?
Well, for a residential system, you're looking at about a 5 to a 10K system is about the normal.
Let me cut you in there, because the average person doesn't know what 10K means or 5K, and not that I'm going to be able to explain it any better, but it's just simply the number of panels gives you a certain amount of energy. And if you have more panels, if you have twice as many panels as 5,000 watts of power, then you have 10,000. If you have 4 times more. And so it's just a matter of a house having roof space facing south. How many panels can you place on that? And you're saying traditionally it's been between about 5 and 10,000 watts of power, or 5K, which is 1,000, or 10K. So 5 to 10,000 watts of power.
That is correct. And you also have limitations for a Tier 1 system that will only let you put 11.2K on a residential property. So
Okay,
you are
well, we're not going to
limited.
get to that part. Whatever that meant. Tier
Restrictions,
one.
there's restrictions or something.
Yes.
Okay, so there could be some limitation, but basically 5 or 10. The person listening to the radio show might be interested in solar. Probably be between a 5 and a 10 kW system.
That is
And,
correct.
and what is the value? What is the cost of a 5 kW or 10 kW system?
Yeah, let's go with 5 because that would be a good starting point for
Yeah,
somebody.
5K system, you could say about 20,000, 15 to 20,000.
Now, when I hear solar power, I hear the words rebates, tax credits, all that stuff. It sounds really confusing to me. Go ahead and elaborate a little bit on that for me.
Okay.
For us.
All right. Well, the rebates right now in the state of Florida, they're a little rough. If you have Florida Power and Light, they do have a $2 a watt rebate that's available.
So that'd be $10,000 off a $5,000 system. Okay.
That's right. That's right. And basically, you have to make application for that, which is a little tough. It's a first come, first served basis. You have to know when it's going to come.
So
And you-
rebates, son, basically it's like a lottery thing. In other words, the state of Florida will give some money to some utility, and that utility will open it up for a little window on the internet. You got to go online application, and if you get it in there on time, then maybe you can get it. So let's forget about the rebates. So
Okay.
the average person's not getting a rebate. If you're in Lake County, you're not getting a rebate. So okay, that's gone. What other? It costs me $20,000. What I'm looking for. Okay, what else can I save money on?
There's a tax credit thing.
That's right. You have a 30% tax credit. So
That's a
if
federal tax
a
credit.
federal tax credit. So if you have to pay taxes, you can take that off right off your taxes. Not a deduction. It's a tax credit.
So a tax credit if you're in a 25% tax bracket, right?
It
No,
does-
no, it's a 30% credit. Take it
No,
back.
it doesn't matter. If you owe $5,000 taxes,
Oh, you're taking.
you deduct that from that.
All right, so 20,000 at 30% gives me 6,000. I can take 6,000 off my taxes if I have to pay taxes. That gives so it costs me 14,000.
That's correct.
All right, now I know how much it costs me. I know what kind of location. How much am I saving? I mean, what am I saving? Like, how much money am I saving a month?
Yeah, and what is the return on investment, something like this?
Well, if you're going to be putting a 5K system, and now keep in mind the price of electricity does increase. So, but right now, you put a 5K system in, you're going to produce about $100 a month.
$100 a month.
$100.
All right, hold on.
$100 worth. Okay.
So it's costing me $14,000, right? Because we have $6,000 credit on a $20,000 install. I got $14,000. I'm saving $1,200 a month, right? You said
That's
I mean,
correct.
$100 a month, so $1,200
$100 a
a
month.
year.
So
take
13 years.
14,000.
Divide by
Mike, you got a
1,200?
calculator there, Big Gator Mike? There, anybody have a calculator? So what's 14,000 divided by 1,200? That gives me the number of years. Gator Mike, what do you think there?
It's about 11.
Hang on, let me
12
get out
years.
the abacus. Hold on a
Okay,
second.
yeah, you got the abacus going. All right, well, he's working on that to give us that return on investment, or rather payback period. How long the payback period?
Let me touch base on the life expectancy on these units here that you install. You have the solar panels, you have the inverter.
Hey, we got it in here, Mike. Hey, give us
It's-
a drum roll. Hold on.
Drum roll.
It's 11 years, 0.66, so 11 and 2/3 of the year.
All right, so
11 years.
you got 12 years before you get it paid back. Now, here's a problem I have. But what happens if I have a roof that's kind of like going to be, in other words, the roof is only got 5 or 10 more years left to go. I guess I have to have a roofer come out then, and maybe like what do I do? I mean, my roof is needs to be replaced, so I need to replace the roof now.
You do want to put it on a good roof. You don't want to put it on an old roof.
All right, let's just assume my house is facing south. I have a great roof. It's going to cost me $20,000. I get $6,000, 30% tax credit. Costs me $14,000. Takes me 12 years. That means I have to live in that house for 12 years to break even.
I wouldn't sell it.
You wouldn't sell the house.
No.
Reason not to move. All right, then Michael, you're asking about warranties.
The warranty, the life expectancy, how long do these last? You've got solar panels, you've got an inverter, which we're not going to go into details, but that's part of the equipment. They're both a little bit separate. Touch base on those two guys.
Yeah, that's the good news. The inverters were the problem in the past, so they pretty much solved that.
Well, let me explain what an inverter is.
Yes.
So you have solar panels on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
They take the solar power and they convert it to direct current, DC. Then you have to, and it's about 600 volt DC. Then they have to convert that energy to 120, 240 volt AC. And that's the inverter. So there's an electronic device that inverts DC to AC so that we can use it in the home or the
Okay.
building.
That's correct, and that's a very sophisticated device, and that's why they had so much trouble with it. But now they have 10-year warranties
Okay.
on these inverters.
What about the panels on the roof?
The panels were always reliable. You have a 25-year warranty on
Okay.
the panels.
And if one goes bad, you can easily remove and replace that each panel. It's not like the whole thing has to be replaced. If one goes bad, you can change just that one little component.
That's correct.
Okay. Another thing, solar power isn't just for your houses. They have it for, out in fields, out in the big, cow pastures. They have it for boat docks. For example, my father just had a portable floating, boat dock installed on his lake, and he has a retractable touchless cover awning system and his boat lift, and that's all, supplied or powered by solar power. So
Well, the reason I picked that, son,
because of safety.
yeah, because I'm going to run 120 volts into the water because this is a floating dock.
Right.
It's not like it's a fixed dock. So I chose a floating dock because of the water levels in Lake County moving up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was going to run wire there. And then I heard that they make them for DC motors and they make them for solar.
You pretty much have a portable dock. So, but if you run power out there, number one, to get that out there, it's pretty far, and then that's a solid fixed, install. So you have to retrofit that to change it with the functioning of the water level. So
So I found solar in my
Yeah.
particular case to be for that boat lift
Yeah.
and the touchless cover to be great. What other applications have you seen the use of solar?
Well, if you drive down the highway, you'll see billboards now. You'll see the solar panels that run the LED lights that lights the advertisement signs up that never had power to them before. So this gives them a new way of advertising at night.
in fact, there's actually a couple signs on Highway 27 here in Leesburg that have billboards that have that. You can look and see, you can see the solar rays on the top there, the panels.
That's correct, and that's what's happening with solar now. It's tough to get the rebates and things like that, but you're seeing a whole new market evolve with direct use solar. So things that are very specific, like solar swimming pool pumps, are starting to evolve. There's going to be all kinds of inventions that are going to evolve with solar for direct use things.
How do most people pay for this in your experience for your customers?
They have it saved and they pay for it.
Okay, so in other words, this is not something the average person is going to go out there and get financing for. More than likely, this is something they have a passion on. They're willing to make that 11-year investment.
Well, I think we covered all the topics, though. We had a great discussion about solar. I think we're going to close it up here, and we'll be back after the break. All right, welcome back to the show. I didn't get in there with you, but Perry, your company is called Done Right Electric.
Well, that's right.
And your website is www.pvpumps.com, because solar power comes in houses, for panels, for boat covers, and you actually did you invent a solar power pump for your pool?
I developed it. I don't know if I invented it. I developed it.
Okay.
Yes, it's something I did myself.
Okay. And for all the listeners out there, Perry is very passionate about what he does. I mean, he knows everything about it. So if you have any questions, concerns, or you want to get solar power, go to him. His phone number is 352-303-8166. So there goes that. If you have any questions as callers, you want to call in the station, you can give us a call at My 790 AM. That's 352-787-9523. Dad, you have some things you want to
Yeah, I think it's great. If you're listening and you want to know anything more about solar, please give us a call. We're going to kind of maybe diverge off that topic, but if the calls come in, we're going to jump back on there. And one of the things I want to move on to, Perry, has to do with maybe not necessarily with you, but having to do with wind power, renewable energy. I mean, everybody wants renewable energy. We got solar power. We've done a little math here. It's going to take about 11 or 12 years to recover your investment. You're going to have to pay for it up front. How long does it take to put in a system, by the way? 5 kW system, if I get with you, and then how long does it take to put it in? Not the whole process, but I mean, how long does it take?
I would say if it's a 5K system, it will be done within a week.
Okay, within a week. So
Yes.
you come out, you look at the house, you evaluate it, you do the analysis, you order it, you get the permits, you're a licensed electrical contractor.
That's correct.
You know, and I also would like to say Perry Perry wired. We're a Lake County-based company. That's Mike Holt Enterprises in Leesburg, and Perry is the one who wired up my offices. So we're very proud about Perry. So we definitely, if you're interested in solar or renewable energy, make sure you call Perry at Done Right Electric. Is that what it's called, Done Right Electric or Done Right Solar?
Done Right Electric?
Done Right Electric.
Done Right Electric.
And again, that phone number is 352-303-8166.
Let's talk about wind. Oh yeah, we got a caller coming in there. Hey, Mike, well, you got a question, Mike?
Yeah, I have a question. I'm getting these emails and I see things on the internet all the time about get solar power in your house and you can do it and you can build it and for pennies on the dollar. And you know, I know you're only the end project is only as good as the person who does it, and I don't trust myself with that. So my question is it just me, or is it that these do-it-yourself solar kits are are what they are. They're no good, and I should get a licensed professional.
We've talked about that in electrical safety this whole series, and that is that you really shouldn't be changing a receptacle. Because I've known of cases where people have gotten killed. But when it comes to solar power, it is an incredibly complex system. It requires interface with the building construction, the building codes, the electrical codes of roofing. There are so many things involved. And I mentioned it briefly, but solar power is about 600-volt direct current, which is about 3 times the voltage of a normal house. So it's even more dangerous. So in no conceivable way should anybody ever even consider the possibility of buying a kit. Now, if they sell a solar power kit where you buy this little panel and it's like an interconnect, you just kind of plug in, play, and then it does a light bulb. I have no problem with something like that. So when you see these type of things, you will probably find out that it's only like a 200-watt system or a 50-watt system. It really will not amount to anything at all. So if it comes in plug and play, who cares? But you're not going to get anything out of that. It might be something fun to have, though.
Good question. And to bring up that on the same topic a little bit, who is qualified to install a solar power system?
That's a really great
Perry?
question.
Well, you need a solar contractor, or you need an EC or an ER licensed contractor.
Now, when you say EREC, that means electrical register, which is on a county-based contractor. You have an EC, which is a state unlimited contractor, so state certified, or you have a special guy who's just in solar power. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Well, let me go a little further on that. I would not trust almost any electrical contractor to put in solar. I would make sure, if I was going to pick a solar contractor, that this person has been doing it for years. Yes, an electrical contractor is qualified according to the state of Florida to do the installation, but Gator Mike, as I mentioned to you, even a do-it-yourself, this is such a complicated system that the average electrical contractor would be learning on your house, drilling holes, doing things.
Is it true, though, that you can actually generate power and sell it back to the electric company? That's the thing they always try to push. Oh, make them pay you.
No, it doesn't work that way. What you could do is you buy it at like about 11 cents or 12 cents a kilowatt. If you sell it to the utility, you could sell it for about 3 or 4 cents. Okay, but it costs you about 25 cents to generate. So in other words, it's not cost effective. So no, you would never buy solar with a thinking that you're going to sell it to the electric utility. That just is totally, completely off the range of cost effect. The only reason you'd have solar is because you love the planet and whatever carbon footprints mean and what all this other stuff is, and you feel that you want to spend your $15,000-$20,000 and you want to invest in that, and you're going to stay in this house for 15 years, and you just feel good about it. And Mike, also, it's called conspicuous consumption. You want your neighbors to know that, I got solar and you don't. I care about this planet, obviously you don't. So, there's a certain amount of in your face, I got it. But it doesn't make sense for most people to have solar. But for some people, listen, people put swimming pools in their house, right? It costs more than a solar system, but you get some value, and if you enjoy it, it makes you feel good, then so there's something there to be said for, I just feel better knowing that I'm doing something with the planet. If you're doing something with the planet, which I don't know what we're doing.
I just want to add something to that, too. You said you can't sell power back to the power company.
Well, you can, but it's at 3 to 4 cents a kilowatt.
Well, basically, though, if you are buying solar, or if you're buying power from the power company, you can sell them back that equal amount of power all the way till you reach that 0 point. Once you become over the 0 point, then you are selling it to them at 4 cents a watt.
Yeah.
3 cents a watt.
What he's saying, Gator Mike, is that if you have a $150 a month electric bill and you had a solar system that made $100, well, it goes backwards, okay, and it subtracts $100 from the bill. But if you had a solar system that created $200 and you had a $150 bill, now you don't get $50 back, because you're selling more than you're consuming, so now you're going to get maybe $10 back. So what Perry is saying is that when you design a system, you want to make sure that system is designed not to generate more than you would ever use in a year. But it's a year, though. So it's not a day. In other words, at the end of the year, if you consumed more energy than the solar generated, then you still owe the electric bill some money. But if you created more energy than you consumed at the end of the year, then they're going to give you a check for 14 cents.
He scared you away a little bit, but I got you back, didn't I, Mike?
Yeah, I'm right back in there, I think, as long as I don't do it myself.
Okay.
Don't do it yourself, and do it if... Here's the profile of the average person. that does solar, they're over 65, okay? And they're male. So you're not there, Gator Mike, yet. So got to wait till you get the money in the bank. You're thinking, you know what, I think I'm going to put some solar and put it in the face of my neighbors, the front yard. I don't care if it faces south or not. All right, anything else on solar? Anybody want to say anything? I think we got them. Let's talk about wind. I saw it about a year or so ago. There was a guy in Mount Dora, and was in the newspaper, putting a wind turbine up there. And the guy said, well, I thought there's no wind in Florida. And the guy said, oh, these engineers, what they know about it. I'm going to prove them all wrong. And I'm thinking, what an idiot you are. You can't put a wind turbine in Florida and make any kind of money. As a matter of fact, you can just about not put it anywhere in the United States and make any money on wind. And I'm pretty familiar with the wind people because I'm involved in the electrical code processes, and I know the guys who create the wind turbines and who generate this stuff. And I have great conversation. I said, is there any way? They said, no. Because in order to get a wind turbine, you got to get this thing way up in the air.
Those things are huge.
So, but I'm saying even a house, a 5 kW system is huge. So you have to go like 90 feet up in the air, and the structure that it takes to hold this wind, and you want it 90 feet to get to where the wind is. Well, there's no wind in Florida. So forget about wind. That would mean not going to happen. Not in Florida.
We have hydro. We have hydropower.
Well, that's a renewable energy, but we don't have any dams in Florida. But I mean, but you know what? Some people do. I'm like in North Carolina and Georgia. Some people have they have their own little hydro plants. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a cool system of renewable energy. Mm-hmm. So those are different types of renewable energy. Wind is a zero. Solar, 15-year payback. Watch your roof. Make sure you have the right location. Make sure you get a certified electrical contractor that is clearly have done hundreds of systems. I would not allow some guy to come in my house that he doesn't on the side. Perry's been doing it forever. I'm not saying you should have Perry. I'm saying you want somebody like Perry. And there are in Ocala. We have Brian House. Mm-hmm. What Brian House is? What's
your question?
Well, I mean, Brian.
Brian House.
Yeah.
What's your question?
Now, what's his name? What's his company?
Dan House Electric. First Class Systems. First Class Electrical Systems by Dan House Electric.
Yeah, he's up in Ocala. So those are some people that I'd recommend. All right, okay. I'm going to move on to electric vehicles. So I think Gator Mike, you okay with anything there? Any questions?
No, it's very thorough.
So basically, the average person, no, it's never going to happen. Got to be over 65. Got to have money in the bank. You know what I mean? And you don't really care about whether you get your return on your investment. I don't have it in my house. All right, let's talk about electric vehicles real quick. The electric Bolt. I think there's a Leaf. Forget about it. Give me a break. The car costs you $40,000. You're going to have to try to figure out how you can charge it up so you can get a hybrid vehicle, which means a hybrid means it has a gas-powered motor with electric-powered motors so that when the electric power leaves, then the gas power runs a generator to charge up the electric motor so the electric motor can run. What the heck is that?
Seems kind of complicated to me.
Yeah, and you got batteries that cost you $10,000. How long is the batteries going to last?
I'm all stressed out just thinking about it.
I would think so. And you got 30 to 50 miles is your travel distance? I mean, then you got to charge it, and it takes you 12 hours to charge it at your house.
Do we want Perry? Perry, you want to touch anything on it? What are your thoughts about?
I think Perry loves electric vehicles.
He loves everything electric.
Well, I think part of your decision on some of these things are not so much money; they're also about the environment. So let's talk. Let's think about the environment a little bit here.
Well, okay, but listen, electric vehicles have a very short range. They're very expensive. This is again. Conspicuous consumption. I got solar and I got electric vehicle in the front of my house, buddy.
Let's close
I care
it up
about
here.
the planet.
Perry, Dad, thank you for joining us on the show. Everybody, take care. We'll talk to you soon.
It was a pleasure.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Bye.